you have $100,000 invested right now, congratulations, because that's absolutely one of the hardest things to do in this whole investing journey. But the jump from $100,000 to $1 million is where the vast majority of investors quietly stall out. Not because they picked the wrong fund or because the market failed them, but for reasons that have almost nothing to do with being smart. So today I'm going to give you the 5 real reasons that I've seen, especially in doing all these different private one-on-ones with my clients, as to why they're actually stalling and not hitting that 7 figures, but also the things that have made almost all of them very successful all line up here. Going from 6 figures to 7 figures is well within reach with these steps. My name's Nolan Govea, my students call me Professor G, and I made this channel to make investing simplified. Remember that all investing carries risks, so do your own research. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Here's the honest picture, and I want to be precise because I am a finance professor, so that is kind of like my brand, but nobody really has like a real study that was done where they're following people from when they had $100,000 all the way up to hopefully making that 7 figures. So I'm not going to pretend like one exists, but we do know what the pyramid looks like. About 1 in 5 American households has a net worth over $1 million. That's the top 20% or so. And when you look specifically inside 401k accounts, the picture is even sharper. Fidelity tracks this every quarter, and out of more than 25 million 401ks, only around 645,000 are millionaire accounts. That's about 2.5%. Another crazy stat is the typical worker age 55 to 64, right on the doorstep of retirement, has a median 401k of around $107,000. Not $1 million, around 6 figures. So think what that tells you. Getting to about $100,000 is a great step, but it's somewhat common, especially in a 401k or retirement account. But getting to $1 million is rare. Something happens in that gap that stops most people cold, and that's what this video is all about. So point number 1, the first thing that separates these people that have $100,000 to who gets to invest in over $1 million. These types of people understand the math of what they're sitting on. Once you already have your first $100,000 invested, the heavy lifting's already being done for you. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late business partner, said it best. He said the first $100,000 is the hardest part, and that getting your hands on that first 100 grand is a long struggle for most people. And he was right. The reason for that, as you probably know, is that most of it is just being built up by your contributions, how much you can put in each and every month. Once you cross that 100,000 and really over about 250,000, things flip big time in your favor. Basically, your contributions start pulling more weight than even your paycheck can. Say you have your $100,000 and you never add another dollar, at around a 10% average return historically in the range of the long-term US stock market, that $100,000 becomes $1 million in roughly 24 years all on its own. But now watch what happens when you keep feeding it. Add $500 a month and that timeline drops to about 19 years. Add $1,000 a month and you're looking at around 16 years. So the climb from $100,000 to $1 million is not necessarily a stock picking game. It's a time and consistency game. Your job, now that you have $100,000 or more invested, is to not get too clever. It's to not interrupt the compounding. Which brings me straight to number 2, which is definitely the reason that most people stall. When people picture blowing up their portfolio, they picture some crazy dramatic event, like this crazy crash that just wipes everything out, or even a crash that is a drop and then you sell everything because you're so worried. But here's what the data actually shows. In the crash of early 2020, when everyone assumed regular investors were panic selling, Vanguard looked at the accounts. About 95% of retirement savers did not trade at all, and fewer than 0.5% of them panic sold to cash. So that big dramatic sell or big dramatic crash is pretty rare. What actually stalls people is definitely quieter. When people change jobs, look at what happens to their 401k. More than 40% of employees cash it out instead of rolling it over. And most of the ones who cash out drain the whole thing. They take the pile that was supposed to compound for 30 years, they spend it, and they reset the clock to 0. That's the interruption trap. It's not one dramatic moment, it's cashing out on a job change. It's tinkering with the portfolio every time you learn something new. It's stopping your contributions the moment the market gets scary. Now, as you know, I deal with clients one-on-one literally every single day. And the biggest regret, the most regret by far that I hear, is that people took money out of the market because they thought something bad was going to happen. And these people are very intelligent people, and so are you, and so you probably have these same types of thoughts. Something like, the market seems very overvalued, and even the data and numbers are showing that it's quite overvalued. I think I'll just sell out into cash for now, wait for things to get back into value, meaning that we'll have a correction, and then at that point, I'll put it back into the market. So I'll just let things cool off. Or I'm sure you've said something like, oh, we have this new president coming in and he's probably gonna blow up the economy. And so once everything kind of smooths out and once we get through all that, that's when I'll get my money back into the market. The problem by far is actually getting that money back in, because it never works out the way that you expect it to. More often than not, the S&P 500 is positive. It's going up even when it shouldn't. And so now you have to put money back in at a time when it's gone up 10, 15, 30%. And so in essence, you lost all of those gains. So now here's where it gets interesting. If it's not about being smarter, and it's not about picking the perfect stock or perfect ETF, then what is the thing that gets people to that 7-figure portfolio? After years of teaching this in the classroom and talking with my clients, there's 3 main things. For years, the studies on generic financial education were honestly kind of depressing. One big analysis found that broad, one-size-fits-all financial education explained almost none of how people actually behave, and that whatever people learned faded within about a year and a half. This is why I always laugh when people say, oh man, I wish I would have learned about this when I was in high school or grade school or something. Because I know for a fact that at that point, none of us were even ready to retain that information. At this stage in your life right now, it matters a lot because it's front and center and it means something. And so you do need to learn it and you're ready to retain the information. When researchers looked again with a much bigger set of real experiments, they found education does work when it's tied to a decision you're about to make. So basically, learning something in a vacuum just doesn't work. But if you're paying attention and actually doing the research at a time when you're about to make this big decision, that's when it makes a lot more sense. So the people that make it to that 7 figures invested are not just taking random tips off the internet and blindly following them. They actually have a system put in place that they do month in and month out. So what does a real system even actually look like? It's basically 3 things. First, a foundation you actually understand, not a fire hose of tips, but the core mechanics of how dividends, stock picking, and a portfolio construction work, learned in order so that when you make a move, you know why you're making it. Second would be a repeatable buy list, or something that you're watching but you have a reason for it. Instead of guessing off the next headline, you want a short, consistent list of names you're actually watching with a clear reason you like each one and the risk on each one. Same screen applied to real companies every single month. That's what turns investing from a guessing game into a process. And third, seeing a real portfolio in motion, not just a list of what to buy, but watching how an actual long-term portfolio is built and adjusted over time, position by position, so you learn to think about allocation instead of just copying trades. So all that is so important, and I've seen that with all of my most successful clients. But even the best system fails if you quit halfway through, which leads us to point number 4. So here's the thing about like a 20-year plan. The plan itself is simple. Sticking to it when life gets loud or there's a lot of noise out there is very, very hard. And this is where other people do something that your willpower just can't. There's a genuinely great study on this. Researchers in the Philippines gave people a simple commitment tool, a way to lock in their savings goals. The group that committed grew their savings dramatically more than the group that did not. And this is a real controlled experiment, not a survey. When you commit out loud and something holds you to it, you follow through at a completely different rate. There's also solid research showing that just being around other people making the same decision changes your own behavior. We're wired to move with the people around us. But I will be real with you, not all community is the same thing and not all community is good for you. There's research showing that if all you see is other people flexing bigger numbers than you, it can actually discourage you and make you save less. So the kind of group that helps is a specific kind. It's not people flexing gains to make you feel behind. It's disciplined people, all playing the same long-term game, keeping each other steady when the market gets scary. The right group rewards showing up, not showing off. Because the whole point is this. When the market drops 20% and every headline is just screaming, the investor sitting alone talks themselves into cashing out. The investor surrounded by people, staying the course, that's the one who's still invested 5 years later with the compounding intact. So if you take anything from that point, the main thing is don't do this in isolation. Find people that you can trust that are on the same journey as you and stick with it. And point number 5 is definitely one that I get probably the most amount of questions on, and this is all about access. More often than not, any successful person, whether it's in sports or business or investing, they usually have some type of a mentor, somebody who's a couple of steps ahead of them, kind of taking them under their wing and making sure that they get through and be successful as well. Vanguard studied what good guidance is actually worth, and they found it can add up to around 3% a year to an investor's net return. The single biggest piece of that value did not come from picking better investments. It came from behavior, from having someone keep you from doing the dumb thing at the scary moment, from keeping you invested when you wanted to run. Now you know that I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm a finance professor and a serial entrepreneur and somebody who's been investing for 20 years, and so all I'm trying to do is practice what I preach and show you along the way. I try to make videos that are just gonna give you value that I wish I would have seen 20 years ago so that I don't make some of the mistakes that I made, and hopefully we all get these portfolios much bigger than if we were doing this on our own. So when I say get access to somebody who's a few steps ahead of you, I'm not saying go hire some expensive financial advisor. I mean, find somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, is actually doing it, that you can trust and you can prove, and who you can ask a direct question to whenever things get a little bumpy. So that's really the whole climb, those 5 points. And it actually leads to the last few minutes of this video. Everything I just walked you through. The math, protecting the compounding, a real system, a room that keeps you accountable, access to someone a few steps ahead. Those are the 5 things that actually separate the people who have a very high chance of success in hitting 7 figures. Points 1 and 2 you can do entirely on your own, starting today. But points 3, 4, and 5 are the ones people always ask me the same question about. Professor, where do I actually get those? So I went ahead and built this for you. I built a community on School called Investing Simplified, and I built it around these exact 5 points. Point number 1, the math and the mechanics. That's the 4-week boot camp inside. A couple short videos that walk you through dividends, stock picking, and portfolio basics in order so day 1 makes sense even if you're starting from scratch. Point number 2, protecting the compounding. Every single month I reveal my entire portfolio, every position and every move and the why behind it. Watching me hold and not tinker month after month is how you learn to leave yours alone. Point 3, a real system. Every month I post my watch list, the 10 to 15 names I'm actually watching, with the reason I like each one and the risk on each one. That's your repeatable buy list applied to real companies the month you're deciding what to do. Point number 4, accountability in a room. It's a real community of long-term investors, a group chat, and weekly live calls where we talk through whatever the market's doing, so you never have to white knuckle it alone. And point number 5 is all about access. On the premium tier, you can direct message me with anything at any time. And I'm on every weekly live call, so when you're staring at a decision, you're not guessing by yourself. Remember, the climb to get to $1 million was never about being the smartest person in the room. It was about staying in the game long enough for the math to actually win. We already have over 500 investors in there, and it's just such a great room with everybody sharing their experience because everybody does have something to share and help with each other. The link is down in the description and pinned in that first comment, so go ahead and check it out, see if it works for you, and come join this amazing group over on School. After that, watch either of these 2 videos to help keep investing simplified.